Kim's Beauty here from 10 Sigma, and welcome to episode 5 of Transition Tuesday. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the components of the Transition IEP and how to make the IEP work for you so that you can spend more time with your students. I'm going to switch over to a short presentation to present some of these tips. Here are some components of the Transition IEP. First, there's post-secondary goals, which drives the IEP. These are goals that are written for after the student graduates or leaves the program. The next component we're going to talk about are annual goals. Annual goals are written for when the student is in high school or a school program. The teacher must assess the present level, write a compliant goal, monitor, document, and report progress. The next component I'm going to talk about are transition services. Transition services are tasks and activities. Many times transition services are tasks or activities that the student only does once. For example, visit a community college, take the APSVAB military test, develop a resume, or learn how to sort and do laundry. Transition services can be assigned to anyone. They can be assigned to the parent, to the student, other staff members. The only responsibility of the teacher is to ask when this service might start, and then before the next IEP meeting, contact whoever was to do the service and ask them if it was completed. The last transition IEP component we're going to talk about are courses. Some of students' needs can be met through regular education courses. For example, if a student has a need in math calculation, this could be met through an accounting course. Now that we've talked about some of the transition IEP components, we're going to talk about how to make the transition IEP work for you so that you can spend more time with your students and less time on paperwork. The first thing I want you to consider is to write fewer but meaningful annual goals. That means limit annual goals to critical needs only. However, when you do limit your annual goals to critical needs only, you're going to have to write annual goals precisely using your district structure. Another thing that you want to consider is to write comprehensive annual goals for fast-moving students or students that you have very little time with. What you want to do is write 3 to 12 needs met, tasks completed in one goal. The present level would be 0 out of 10 tasks that have been completed, and the goal level would be 8 out of 10. The progress is shown on how many tasks were completed versus how many they need to complete. Because only the critical needs were written as annual goals, you can handle most needs as transition services, thus freeing up your time to work more with your students. You can make a list of tasks that the student needs to complete prior to graduation. Again, most transition services are informal tasks or activities. You are going to assign who's responsible to help the student complete them, when they're going to start, and the duration of how long it's going to take them to complete the task with the student. You can assign yourself, you can assign the student, parents, and other IEP team members. In doing this, you become the IEP manager instead of the sole person responsible for implementing the IEP. You give some of the responsibility to other team members, you set the timeline, and you remind people to complete the tasks that they need to do to help the student. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that you use these tips to help you reduce the time you spend on paperwork and engage the IEP team in helping the student reach their post-secondary goals, giving you more time to spend with your students. Be sure to check your email for the bonus we just sent over, and please remember to like the video and leave your comments and suggestions for next week's topic. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.